Welcome back to the Bourbon Note, everybody. I'm Ben. I got a bourbon from a rye company on the bar. Let's get into it. So on the bar tonight, I've got, bam, this is Whistle Pig Piggyback Bourbon. So in the intro, I said this is a bourbon from a rye company. I don't know that Whistle Pig is necessarily a rye company per se, but most of their products are in the rye category. So for what it's worth, I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else to say in the intro. So this is Whistle Pig's Piggyback Bourbon, 6-year age stated, 100 proof banger. And yeah, it says on the back here, or it says somewhere here that I think this is a blend from, yeah, distilled in Indiana, Vermont, Kentucky. That's it. Vermont, Kentucky, Indiana. So it's a blend of a few different things. The Vermont is kind of intriguing because I don't think I've ever had a whiskey from Vermont, but I don't know what the ratios of the blend are. So I've had some Whistle Pig products. I've enjoyed them. The basic Whistle Pig Piggyback Rye is really good, and that's kind of like Whistle Pig tends to kind of run in sort of the premium whiskey, at least price-wise they do. And so this one, the Piggyback Bourbon and then the Piggyback Rye are kind of their more, mid-tier priced offerings. And so it's good to have those out there on the shelf because I really did like the rye. So getting into the bourbon here on the nose, it's kind of interesting. This is different than what I was expecting. Just given Whistle Pig's general products that they put out being more rye heavy, I was expecting this to maybe be a high rye bourbon, and I don't know what the rye content of this would be, considering that it's blended from 3 different things. Who knows, maybe it's a 4-grain or something, but it's not rye heavy on the nose at all. It's actually coming across sweet. There's a bit of a grain kind of a note on here, not in a bad way. It's not coming across youthy. 6 years, you can get a decent whiskey out of 6 years for sure. But it's coming across almost like, you could convince me that this is a wheater actually. Now watch, it's like super high rye. I'm just not getting it. But on the nose, it's kind of heavy caramel and then like some graham cracker. And there's almost a bit of maltiness to it as well. I wonder what the malted barley content is, because it definitely has that kind of malty sort of flavor riding on top of that kind of caramel and graham cracker. Tiny little bit of pink bubblegum trying to come through as well. This is definitely interesting. Let's get into the palate here. Cheers. That's nice. I like that. The nose kind of transfers to the palate, but there is some different stuff going on. I think on the palate, that kind of grain that I was noticing on the nose is kind of manifesting itself, and this might have something to do with the maltiness as well, and almost more like a cereal grain sort of flavor, and it's definitely something a little bit different. There's sometimes people say you get like a light hay on whiskeys. I know some of these tasting notes are weird, but that's not an uncommon one when you're getting kind of those grain forward notes. And this isn't necessarily grain forward, but that grain note, which I'm kind of thinking is like more of a cereal grain coming across with that maltiness, kind of rides alongside that really nice sweetness with the caramel. But this is a light and bright bourbon. It doesn't really have much for like the dark, rich brown sugars. And just based off the nose in that first sip, this to me is leaning towards the flavor profile of like a toasted bourbon with that graham cracker note to it. So yeah, it's really nice. It's interesting. It's definitely kind of a departure from a standard bourbon. I mean, it plays within the boundaries, but it's definitely got something that's kind of unique about it. Let's go in for sip number 2 here. Cheers. So the more I sip on this, the more I'm liking it. It's, like I said before, it really, even going on to that second sip, it came out even more so that kind of toasted bourbon sort of flavor profile. The graham cracker is there, that kind of nice light oak is there. And there's a little bit of, I've brought up before, like the zebra cake note, like the artificial waxy vanilla. I get that on a lot of stuff. This one doesn't really have that, but it's actually got like the cake part of a zebra cake, you know, that yellow cake in the middle. That's the only way I can describe this kind of interesting sweetness that it has on it. And I got that recently on another bourbon. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, this is, I had a few sips when I cut away there and picked it apart a little bit. And yeah, I feel like this one is different enough that you're getting something that's just not like an everyday run-of-the-mill bourbon. You know, it has something different to offer. Now, whether or not you like that something different, you know, that's up for interpretation. I happen to like this one. And so, you know, that kind of grain note that leans towards a cereal grain, bordering on like the kind of like taste and texture of a wheater, along with that light malty note, and then that kind of vanilla, and then the caramel, and then that toasted barrel influence and the graham cracker. I think this is definitely an interesting one. Let's get one more sip on this before we get out of here. I would say overall this is good. I like it. I was given this as a gift from my friend Willie, so thank you, Willie. Cheers. This runs, I think, like the $40 to $45 price point. I would say for that, if you're into that kind of grain cereal note and then that, you know, the toasted barrel influence, that's the best way, I hate to repeat myself, but that's the best way that I can try to categorize this, because it is different than just a standard run-of-the-mill bourbon. And so if you tend to like things that lean towards that toasted oak and that toasted barrel finish sort of flavor profile with that nice grain and a little bit of that graham cracker note, then I think you would probably like this. But again, it's not a standard run-of-the-mill bourbon, so if you're looking for just a regular down-the-middle bourbon profile, this probably isn't your jam for that. But this is a good one for people that maybe just like to explore different flavor profiles and try to find, you know, something that's a little bit different from what they're used to, but something that's kind of a new sort of a profile that you might like. So in that regard, this is really good. I'm digging this. I'm gonna enjoy making my way through the bottle. I think you can get this pretty much anywhere, so I'm assuming a bunch of you watching this have already had this. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Did you get the same experience that I did? This has been Whistle Pig Piggyback Bourbon on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one.